Is it a moose? Is it a plane? Or, and hear me out, is it CGI? Well, a lot of you in the comments seem to think it's the latter, or animated, or AI, or a video game, the list goes on. So I'm here to set the record straight. After posting this video of a C-17, the debate took off with thousands of comments. Now, is it real, or am I just a CGI master? Let's find out. I'm gonna start with the easy one, or at least it would have been easy until last week, and that's AI. Until last week, there was no way that AI could produce a video like this, so I'm just gonna take that one off the table because this was shot in March of last year. May of last year. Last year sometime, 2023. We'll just leave it at that. Let's talk about the C-17 and its capabilities. It's an extremely impressive aircraft. It's designed to perform tactical and strategic airlift missions, airdrops, and more. Here are some of its impressive stats. The wingspan is 170 feet, it's 174 feet long and 55 feet tall. It can haul 170,000 pounds of cargo. Each Pratt & Whitney engine produces 40,000 pounds of thrust. It can cruise at 45,000 feet, and it has a top speed of 450 knots or 0.74 Mach, which is just the coolest way to say it anyways. But can it do the maneuvers in this video? That's the real question. Well, things like the max bank angle might surprise you. It's about 60 degrees under the right circumstances, and its agility defies its size with a roll rate of 40 degrees per second at speeds higher than 300 knots. And for those of you who think that the C-17 doing bank turns is stuff of video games, I can assure you this isn't anything too crazy. Just good old aerodynamics, physics, and extremely skilled pilots. Now, one thing to note for the max bank angle on the C-17 is that you have to produce enough speed and enough G's to maintain flight without stalling. Since this was on a VR route, my guess is that they were flying over 300 knots, so that's a good start. But then there are the pilots at the controls. I'm not going to act like I know what they're doing in the cockpit, but let's not forget that this plane's engines produce 160,000 pounds of thrust. So it would be fairly easy for them to maintain and even increase their speed in a maneuver like this. I saw a lot of comments from people saying that they couldn't see the shadow from the plane and the heat coming from the exhaust. So what's going on here? Well, let's put on our detective glasses and find out. First off, this was shot on an iPhone, so the resolution isn't the highest that you'll ever see. Here's the setup that I use in the video. My iPhone is attached to my lens with this mount right here, which is why you see some shaking in the video. That's the shutter opening and closing on the camera. And you can pick up one of these in the link in the description below. They're pretty handy. Here are the settings that I shot it at. First of all, I shoot horizontally so I can do side-to-side motion tracking and crop it for social media. It's shot with the 3x zoom camera at 4K, 60 frames per second, and HDR. That 60 frames per second and HDR are key here. Most videos you see are shot at 24 to 30 frames per second, and it feels more natural. With 60 frames per second, you're seeing more detail because you're getting two images in the same time that you would normally see one, which reduces motion blur and increases the clarity. Interestingly enough, most video games these days aim to be at 60 frames per second, so there is a similarity there. The HDR adds a whole nother element into it. Basically, what HDR does is it takes multiple images at once. One is exposed for the subject, one for the brightest part of the image, and one for the darkest part of the image. Then it's all compiled into one to make it so you can see more detail than you normally would. Now, the shadows and heat signature depend on a lot of factors, but let's scrub through the footage and see if we can spot the shadows and the heat from the engines. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to explain the shadows pretty quickly. All right, let's hit play. Okay, here we go, just a few seconds in. You see the shadow on the trees and the shoreline of the lake, and it's even in the perfect shape of the plane. Then you see the shadow disappear into the water. Now here's where I think most people expect to see a shadow on the hillside and the shoreline, but this part is a bit deceptive because the plane is a lot closer than it looks. It's actually still over the water, and if you look right here, you can see a shadow from the wingtip. Then as we go forward a little bit, you can see a faint shadow on the water when the plane's pointed right at me. The water acts as a diffuser with light and does some crazy things to shadows, which is why it's just a faint oval right here. And in the same moment, you get the first glimpse of the heat from the engines. Look right here at the lower edge of the aircraft where it meets the trees. You start to see it blurring the trees behind it. Then as we keep going and the wings start to go above the horizon, the heat waves become much more pronounced here, 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 and here. You can clearly see it coming from the two right engines until it's going past me. And at this point, I'm panning fairly quickly, so the background is getting a lot more motion blur, so it's harder and harder to see it. When it gets to this point, you can see it coming from all four engines again. Oh, and actually, let's stop it right here for a second. There were a few people who said they couldn't see any of the control surfaces moving, which again, this was shot on an iPhone and the jet was so far away in most of the video that you wouldn't be able to see that. But if you look right here, you can see it as they level out. So there you go. No CGI, no AI, no video games, no trickery. Just patience, timing, and extremely skilled pilots. But if you're still not convinced, here are some images that I took that day. And there are even a couple of ways that you can see this type of thing for yourself. The first is to go to an air show where a C-17 demo team is going to be. They have demo teams just like the fighter jets. And the second, if you don't want to leave your mom's basement, is you can search right here on YouTube and probably find a bunch of videos just like this one. And stay tuned because I'll have plenty more videos like this one with F-15s, F-35s, F-18s, EA-18s, helicopters, all sorts of cool stuff. Now I want to hear your thoughts about the video. Do you think it's real? Do you still think it's fake? AI, CGI, animated, hand-drawn? Let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to chat about it. Until next time, keep your eyes on the sky and your mind skeptical. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Fly safe.